karagdag na 2 taon sa high school ay malaking bahagi ng programang K-12 sa ating bansa. Pinag-aralan ng mabuti ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon o DEPED ang nilalaman at paraan ng pagkatuto sa 2 taong ito na tinatawag ngayong senior high school. Sa pamamagitan ng senior high school, tinitiyak ng DEPED ang kalidad ng edukasyon na may malinaw na patutunguhan anuman ang iyong pag-aralan. May 15 core, 7 applied at 9 na specialized subjects ang senior high school. Sa kabuuan, may 31 subjects ang senior high school. Katumbas ito ng 4 na semestre na may 2 quarter bawat semestre. Ang mga paksa sa bawat aralin ay mahalaga upang maihanda ang mga mag-aaral sa 4 na curriculum exit gaya ng kolehiyo, trabaho, middle-level skills development at negosyo. Kahit anong track ang piliin ng isang mag-aaral, maaari siyang magpatuloy sa alinman sa 4 na posibleng curriculum exit. Mayroong 4 na track ang senior high school. 1. Academic track. 2. Technical Vocational Livelihood track. 3. Arts and Design track. At 4. Sports track. Mahalagang tandaan na hindi lahat ng paaralan ay kumpleto ng lahat ng tracks at strands. Kailangang suriing mabuti ng mga magulang at mag-aaral kung anong track o strand ang mayroon sa kanilang lugar na naaayon sa iba't ibang konsiderasyon gaya ng hilig, interes, kakayahan ng mag-aaral at marami pang iba. Makipag-ugnayan sa pinakamalapit na senior high school sa inyong lugar upang malaman ang kanilang ino-offer na tracks at strands. Upang matulungan ng mga mag-aaral na maunawaan ang pagpaplano sa kanilang hinaharap, ang Department of Education ay naglunsad ng homeroom guidance kung saan nakapaloob ang career development domain. Tumutulong itong mahubog ang mga mahalagang kaalaman, kasanayan, pag-uugali at pagbubuo ng mga plano at desisyon para sa kanilang buhay. Kung kayo ay may mga katanungan o paglilinaw tungkol sa senior high school tracks and strands, maaari kayong makipag-ugnayan sa inyong career guidance advocate o guidance counselor. Hangad namin ang inyong tagumpay!
Welcome sa ating Project Shine. Aral TarlakHenyo ng SDO Tarlac Province na kasalukuyang napapanood dito sa RTV Tarlac Channel 26 at sa Converge Air Cable 100 at sa bayang napapakinggan dito sa 828 AM DZTC Radyo Pilipino Tarlac. Magandang buhay, mabuting tao. Kumusta kayo mga giliw naming tagapakinig? Ang aking pagbati at paghanga sa inyong pagpapahalaga sa edukasyon at pagpupursiging matapos ito ng nagtatagumpay sa kabila ng hamon ng pandemya. Ako ang inyong guro sa edukasyon sa pagpapakatao sa ika-9 na baita. Ginang Madonna C. Tanglaw, sumasahim papawid mula sa bayan ng Ramos, lalawigan ng Tarlac. Sasamahan at gagabayan ka sa pagkatuto sa Most Essential Learning Competency na nakapagpapaliwanag ng kahalagahan ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Natitiyak kong kayo ay handang-handa na mga anak sa pagpapatuloy ng ating aralin sa araw na ito. Maging alerto at listo sa anumang impormasyong magbibigay sa atin ng inspirasyon, pag-asa, at aral sa buhay na makatutulong sa pagiging mabuting tao. Bago natin ipagpatuloy ang aralin, magbalik-aral muna tayo sa ating nakaraang paksa. Ating napag-aralan sa nakaraan ang kahalagahan ng pagkakaroon ng direksyon sa tinatahak natin sa buhay. Bawat tao ay may kanya-kanyang tahakin sa buhay. At bilang mga kabataan, kailangan ngayon pa lang ay alam nyo na ang nais ninyong marating sa hinaharap. Sabi nga ni Stephen Covey, begin with an end in mind. Ibig sabihin, ngayon pa lang ay dapat nag-iisip na kayo ng nais ninyong mangyari sa hinaharap upang mabigyang katuparan ang naising ito sa hinaharap niyong buhay. Isang paraan na maaari ninyong gawin ay ang pagkakaroon ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Batay sa ating naging talakayan sa nakaraan, ang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay ay maihahalin tulad sa isang kredo o moto kung paano mo ninanais na dumaloy ang iyong buhay. Maaari itong maging gabay sa iyong pang-araw-araw na pagpapasya at isang paraan upang mas makilala ang iyong sarili at kung saan ka patungo. Sa huli, batay kay Covey, ang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay ay may kaugnayan sa iyong pag-uugali at paniniwala. Sa araw na ito, ating ipagpapatuloy ang ating pag-aaral patungkol sa personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Ang ating aralin sa araw na ito ay makikita at mababasa rin ninyo sa learner's material ng ESP9. Kung mayroon kayong kopya ng learner's material ng ESP9, mangyaring buksan ito sa pahina 242 hanggang 243 upang mas higit pang masundan ang ating aralin. Nabanggit na sa ating nakaraang talakayan ang kahalagahan ng pagkakaroon ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Bilang isang mag-aaral, alam kong ikaw ay nagnanais na magtagumpay sa buhay. At upang ito ay magkaroon ng katuparan, kinakailangang ang lahat ng iyong mga kilos at pagpapasya ay magdadala sa iyo patungo sa ninanais mong makamit. Ang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay ay makatutulong upang gabayan ka sa iyong mga kilos at gagawing pagpapasya. Mahalaga na ang isang kabataang katulad mo ay mayroong personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Ito ay sapagkat makakatulong ang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay upang makita mo ang halaga ng iyong pag-iral sa mundo na ikaw bilang isang tao ay mayroong misyon na dapat gampanan sa iyong buhay. Ano man ito ay dapat mong pagnilayan at ihanda ang iyong sarili kung paano mo ito sisimulan at gagawin. Mula dito, kailangang maging malinaw sa iyo ang iyong pag-iral. Ikaw ay mayroong misyon na dapat gampanan. Makatandaan mo, ikaw ay mayroong misyon na dapat gampanan. Ano nga ba ang misyon? Ang misyon ay ang hangarin ng isang tao sa buhay na magdadala sa kanya tungo sa kaganapan. Para sa iba, ito ay pagtupad sa isang trabaho o tungkulin ng buong husay na may kasamang kasipagan, determinasyon at pagpupunyagi. Lahat ng tao ay may nakatakdang misyon sa buhay. At dahil iba-iba ang tao, iba-iba rin ang kanilang misyon. maaaring isagawa ang misyong ito sa pamilya, kapwa, paaralan, simbahan, lipunan, trabaho, o sa simpleng gawain na iyong ginagawa. Mahalaga din na mabalanse natin ang ating tungkulin sa ating pamilya, kapwa, paaralan, simbahan, at trabaho. Kung kaya't mahalaga na ngayon pa lamang ay makabuo ka na ng iyong personal na misyon sa buhay upang mula dito ay makita mo o masalamin kung saan ka patungo at matiyak na tama ang iyong patutunguhan. Mula sa misyon ay mabubuo ang tinatawag na bukasyon. Ang bukasyon ay galing sa salitang Latin na vocatio. Ibig sabihin ay calling o tawag. Ito ay mahalaga sa pagpili mo ng profesyong akademiko, technical vocational, sports, at sining pagkatapos mo ng senior high school. May pagkakaiba ba ang profesyon sa bukasyon? Mahalaga na ito ay iyong mabatid, sapagkat sa anumang profesyon na iyong tatahakin, kailangan na makita mo ang kaibahan nito at kung paano mo nga ba ito iuugnay sa iyong buhay. Ang profesyon ay trabaho na ginagawa ng tao upang siya ay mabuhay. Ito ang resulta ng kanyang pinag-aaralan o matagal nang ginagawa at naging eksperto na siya dito. Ito ay maaaring gusto niya o hindi, ngunit kailangan niyang gawin sapagkat ito ang pinagkukunan niya ng kanyang ikabubuhay o maaaring kinabubuhay din ng kanyang pamilya. At dahil sa ikabubuhay lamang o sa sahod lamang nakatuon ang kanyang paggawa, hindi siya nagkakaroon ng ganap na kasiyahan. Ang bokasyon naman ay katulad din ng propesyon. Subalit, nagiging mas kawili-wili ang paggawa para sa tao. Mas lalo siyang nasisiyahan sapagkat nagagamit niya ang kanyang mga talento at hilig sa kanyang ginagawa. Hindi niya nararamdaman ang pagkabagot. Hindi niya nararamdaman ang pagkainis. Hindi nagiging kumpleto ang araw sa kanya kung hindi ito magagawa. Bakit? Sapagkat ito ang nakapagdudulot ng kasiyahan sa kanyang buhay. Mula dito ay hindi na lamang simpleng trabaho ang kanyang ginagawa. Bagkus para sa kanya, ito ay isa ng misyon na nagiging isang bokasyon. Kaya alam ba ninyo, kaming mga guro, kahit maraming gawain ang nakaatas sa amin, kailanman ay hindi kami mapapagod upang gabayan kayo, mga mahal naming mag-aaral. Ito ay profesyon namin at ito din ang aming bukasyon. Ang bawat isa sa inyo ay bahagi ng aming misyon. Ito ang dahilan kung bakit napakahalaga para sa isang tao, lalo na sa iyo bilang isang kabataan na bumuo ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Nakikita mo na ba ang kahalagahang ito para sa iyo? Ito ang makapagbibigay ng direksyon sa iyong buhay upang sa pagtahak mo ng iyong misyon patungo sa iyong bokasyon ay maging malinaw na nakapagbibigay ito sa iyo ng kaganapan bilang isang tao. May kasabihan nga ang libre na lang ngayon sa mundo ay ang mangarap. Bilang isang kabataan na naghahangad ng magandang buhay sa hinaharap, lahat ay may pangarap at panaginip. Upang maisakatuparan ito, gumising ka at gawa ng paraan kung paano ito matutupad. Isang hakbang upang ito ay magkaroon ng kaganapan ay ang pagkakaroon ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Sapagkat ang pagkakaroon nito ang magtutulak sa iyo na magpursigi upang abutin ang iyong ninanais. Bilang paglalahad sa ating ginawang talakayan sa araw na ito, narito ang mga mahahalagang punto na dapat ninyong matandaan. Una, ang pagkakaroon ng personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay ay nagbibigay kahulugan sa pag-iral ng tao sa mundo. Ikalawa, ang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay ang nagsisilbing gabay ng tao upang malaman ang kanyang misyon sa lipunan na kanyang kinabibilangan na magtuturo sa kanyang magiging bukasyon at propesyon. At ikatlo, magkaiba ang propesyon at bukasyon na maaaring tahakin ng isang tao batay sa kanyang personal na pahayag ng misyon sa buhay. Isang talakayan na naman ang malapit nang matapos. Ako ay masayang-masaya sa ipinapakita ninyong aktibong pakikibahagi sa ating aralin ngayong araw. Higit sa lahat, ang inyong pagmamahal sa edukasyon. Ipagpatuloy ang kagandahang asal na ito, mga anak, hakbang tungo sa katuparan ng inyong mga pangarap sa hinaharap. Sa puntong ito, panahon na upang alamin kung kayo ay may natutunan mula sa ating aralin sa pamamagitan ng munting pagsusulit. Sa lahat ng nanonood sa FB Live, gamitin ang FB chat box para sa inyong mga kasagutan. Ihanda naman ang panulat at sagutang papel sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa telebisyon at nakikinig sa radyo. Ang ating gawain ay tama o mali. Magbibigay ako ng 5 pahayag at inyong tutugunan kung ito ay tama o mali batay sa ating ginawang talakayan kanina. Handa na ba kayo? Kung gayon, halina, simulan na natin. Unang pahayag, ang mga tao ay may nakatakdang misyon sa buhay. Ang mga tao ay may nakatakdang misyon sa buhay. Ang tamang sagot ay tama! Ang bawat isa sa atin ay mayroong nakatakdang misyon sa ating buhay. Ikalawang pahayag, ang isang propesyon ay hindi maaaring maging bukasyon sapagkat mas kailangan nating kumita ng pera kaysa maibahagi ang ating mga talento. Ang isang propesyon ay hindi maaaring maging bukasyon sapagkat mas kailangan nating kumita ng pera kaysa maibahagi ang ating mga talento. Kung ang sagot mo ay mali, may tama ka sapagkat anumang propesyon ay maaari nating maging bukasyon kung ito ay gagamitin natin upang makapaglingkod sa iba. Ikatlong pahayag. Sa paggawa ng PPMB ay kinakailangan na mayroong mga hakbang na dapat sundin upang ito ay mas maliwanag at mapagnilay-nilayang mabuti. Sa paggawa ng PPMB ay kinakailangan na mayroong mga hakbang na dapat sundin upang ito ay mas maliwanag at mapagnilay-nilayang mabuti. Tama ang tumpak na sagot. Upang maging mas organisado ito, dapat meron tayong mga hakbang. Mahusay! Ika-4 na pahayag. Ayon kay Stephen Covey, nagkakaroon ng kapangyarihan ng ating misyon kung matutupad natin ang minimithi nating mga material na bagay. Ayon kay Stephen Covey, nagkakaroon ng kapangyarihan ang ating misyon kung matutupad natin ang minimithi nating mga material na bagay. At kung ang sagot mo ay mali, may tama ka, sapagkat ito ay magkakaroon ng kapangyarihan kung ito ay may kaugnayan sa ating kaloob-looban at mailalabas natin ang ating kaganapan bilang isang tao. Para sa ikalima at panghuling pahayag. Napakahalaga na mabalanse ang mga tungkulin sa pamilya, trabaho, komunidad at mga kaibigan. Napakahalaga na mabalanse ang mga tungkulin sa pamilya, trabaho, komunidad at mga kaibigan. Ang tamang sagot ay tama! Binabati ko kayong lahat mga anak sapagkat natitiyak kong nakuha ninyong lahat ang tamang sagot ng ating pagsusulit. Mula sa akin, tanggapin ninyo ang mga salitang magaling at mahusay, mabuting tao. Mga anak, ako ay naghanda ng mga gawain at refleksyon sa inyong learning activity sheets. Inaasahan ko na ito ay inyong sasagutan ng buong sigasig, buong katapatan at sa abot ng inyong makakaya. Sakali man na kailanganin ninyo ang patnubay ng inyong kapamilya at guro, huwag kayong mag-atubiling sila ay tawagan upang kayo ay magabayan ng tama. Subalit pakatandaan ha, anumang misyon ang nakikita natin na meron tayo, anumang pangarap o mithiin na nais nating marating, ay mahalaga sa lahat na tayo ay hihingi ng gabay, patnubay at basbas ng Diyos. Remember, ayon kay Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Ano man ang ating minimithi sa buhay o ano man ang ating pangarap, idulog natin ito sa Kanya. Sapagkat alam mo ba, sa pagkamit ng ating pangarap at pagtupad ng ating misyon ay napakaraming magiging hadlang at pagsubok. Napakaraming mga giants o higante na sa ating daan ay hahadlang. Kung kaya hangad ko na anumang mga hadlang ito ay huwag kayong matatakot. Samahan ninyo akong awitin ang panalangin ito upang bigyan tayo ng inspirasyon sa pagpaplano at pagtupad sa ating misyon. Kalakip ng awiting ito ay ang panalangin ko na sana ay mabigyan ng katuparan ang inyong mga minimithi sa buhay. Umasa ka sa Diyos, ang mabuti gawin at manahan kang ligtas sa lupain. Sa Diyos mo hanapin ang kaligayahan at pangarap mo ay makakamtan. Ang iyong sarili sa Diyos mo ilagak, pag nagtiwalay, tutulungan kang ganap. Ang kabutihan mo ay magliliwanag, katulad ng araw sa tanghaling tapat. Umasa ka sa Diyos, ang mabuti gawin at manahan kang ligtas sa lupain. Sa Diyos mo hanapin ang kaligayahan at pangarap mo ay makakamtan. Sa harap ng Diyos, manatag ka, maging matyagang maghintay sa Kanya. Listen to this, huwag mong kainggitan ang gumiginhawa sa likong paraan, umunlad man sila. Umasa ka sa Diyos, ang mabuti gawin, at manahan kang ligtas sa lupain. Sa Diyos mo hanapin ang kaligayahan at pangarap mo ay makakamtan. At pangarap mo ay makakamtan. Napakagandang awitin, hindi ba? Pero syempre, you have to do your part. Do your best and God will do the rest. Naway, anumang propesyon magkaroon kayo, ay gawin din ninyo itong inyong bukasyon. Panalangin ko na anumang konsepto, higit lalo ang mga aral sa buhay na inyong natutunan sa araw na ito ay inyong maisasabuhay sa araw-araw. Muli, ako ang inyong guro sa edukasyon sa pagpapakatao Baitang Siyam, Ginang Madonna C. Tanglaw, sumasahim papawid mula sa bayan ng Ramos, lalawigan ng Tarlac. Nagpapaalala na piliing maging mabuting tao sa lahat ng panahon at pagkakataon. Hanggang sa muli!
Ang ASEA New Zealand Afforestation Project o ANZAP ay sumusunod at umaayon sa isa sa 5 haligi ng Provincial Government of Tarlac, Kalikasan muna.
Kilala na ang Mayantok naging summer capital of Tarlac. Doon, bundok at malamig, malinis. Ang ANZAP po ay natatangi dahil nandun po yung ANZAP Twin Falls na nag-iisang Twin Falls sa buong probinsya ng Tarlac.
Although Tarlac is landlocked, the province is teeming with natural resources and beauty, and we TarlakHenyos are the stewards of this bounty.
Distrito ng Tarlac, DEPED Region 3 Regional Director Dr. May B. Eclar at Tarlac Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Ronaldo Poson para sa isang napapanahong proyekto na tinaguriang Project Shine, Aral TarlakHenyo. Ang mga mag-aaral ng Grade 4 at Grade 5, ganon din ang Grades 8 and 9 sa buong probinsya ng Tarlac, kasalukuyang sumasailalim sa radio-based instruction. Katuwang ang himpilang DZTZ 828 kHz AM at RTV Tarlac, Channel 26.
Ang Tarlac po nangunguna po ngayon pagdating po sa radio-based instruction. Marami pong humahanga sa atin. I'm very happy this station, itong DCTC, could reach the whole of Region 3. Hindi natin alam, we are contributing. We are creating a very big dent in the history of Philippine education. And I am proud. I am here in Tarlac. This is the noble cause of education in which you and I, without you knowing it, we are bound to do.
Project natin na Project Shine is a natural consequence dahil sa nangyari sa buong mundo. Let's continue to work together. I think it's very Filipino to practice bayanihan in anything or most of the things that we do. And this is a manifestation of that. No? We have private sector, we have DEPED, we have local government, all working together. And I hope the parents of some of these children, especially the parents that did not graduate from school or hindi nakapag-aral nung sila ay bata, sana naman gamitin na nila itong opportunity na mag-schooling na rin sila kasama ng mga anak nila para mag-bonding pati ang mga magulang sa mga bata. I look at this as doing God's work. Diba? So if you do God's work, it feels right. It's righteous. It's for good, not for evil.
Good morning and happy learning, grade 4. Welcome to
Aral TarlakHenyo here on RTV Tarlac, Channel 26.
Simulcast over DZDZ 828, Radio Filipino Tarlac.
I am Teacher Mercy Pacheco Bognot.
This is Alistair Aidatu.
I am Marie Josephine B. Andrade.
I am Teacher Princess Marie M. Dueñas, and I will be your teacher broadcaster for today.
Blessed day, TarlakHenyos. Good afternoon, grade 9 students, and to all our viewers and listeners. Welcome to Aral TarlakHenyo here on RTV Tarlac Channel 26, simulcast over Converge Cable Channel 100 and DZTZ 828 Radio Filipino Tarlac. I am happy that you can join on our broadcast this afternoon. I am Sir Miko P. David, your teacher broadcaster for Science Grade 9, transmitting here at Comillas, La Paz, Tarlac via remote live broadcast. If you have questions with regards to our topic for today, you may send your inquiries and concern through this number, 0910-7587-983. I repeat, that's 0910-7587-983. And for those who are watching our remote live broadcast through Facebook at RTV Tarlac Channel 26, just type in your full name, your school, and your concern to our broadcast session. At the end of our broadcast, I will try my best to answer all your questions right after this session. Please like and share RTV Tarlac live stream at Facebook before our broadcast proceed. Thank you, my dear learners. Hello, my dear learners. How are you? What are you doing to make your day even better? You can share to everyone so that they will be inspired by the little things you do every day to become better. Just comment your answers on our live stream chat. So for today's Food for the Soul, always keep in mind that a collision is more than a car accident. It also has the power of bringing two people together. So at this moment, I want you to find a place where you are comfortable while watching or listening to our lesson. Have your pen and paper for note-taking of important lesson details. Have with you your compendium of notes and your learning activity sheets. Focus your mind and be at your best in analyzing and understanding our lesson for the day. So to our dear parents, relatives, or guardians, please watch over and assist our learners as they undergo knowledge and skills acquisition. Your efforts are much appreciated. Are you ready to learn? All right. Let us put in mind that today we can learn, we can do, and we can become better through learning science. So in today's lesson, you are expected to apply the concept of conservation of momentum to real-life situations and categorize the different situations or scenarios into the different types of collision. Always keep in mind that our lesson objectives shall help you to clarify, organize, and prioritize your learning outcomes. Let us now check if you can still recall the lessons discussed last Monday about the law of conservation of momentum. So to measure how you apply your prior knowledge, we will have a simple multiple choice activity. Everybody, grab your pens and papers and write the letter of the correct answer. For those who are watching, feel free to send your answers or comment them on our live stream. Ready now? Let's begin. So your task is to read each statement carefully, then choose the letter of the correct answer. Number 1, the total momentum of a system will blank before and after collision. A. Increase, B. Decrease, C. Stay the same, or letter D. B. Cancel. I'll repeat. The total momentum of a system will blank before and after collision. A. Increase, B. Decrease, C. Stay the same, or letter D. B. Cancel. What are your answers? So the answer is letter C. The total momentum of a system will stay the same before and after collision. Did you get it right? Next one. So if it starts from rest, the initial velocity is 0 meters per second. If it stops, the velocity or the final velocity is equal to 0 meters per second. Letter A. Both statements are true. B. Statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false. C. Statement 2 is false and statement 1 is true. Or letter D. Both statements are false. Comment down your answers. The answer is letter A. Guess it correctly? Excellent. So moving forward, the total momentum before was 0. So the total momentum after has to be 0. A. 0. B. Lesser than the total momentum before. C. Greater than the total momentum before, or letter D, cannot be determined. I'll repeat. The total momentum before was 0. So the total momentum after has to be blank. A. 0. B. Lesser than the total momentum before. C. Greater than the momentum before, or letter D, cannot be determined. What are your answers? The answer is letter A. One of the grade 9 learners commented letter A on our live broadcast. Outstanding. So, next one. What happens when a ball collides with a human? A. The human will not move. B. The human will fall down. C. Both will move in opposite directions. Or letter D. Nothing. I'll repeat. What happens when a ball collides with a human? A. The human will not move. B. The human will fall down. C. Both will move in opposite directions. Or letter D. Nothing. The correct choice is letter C. When a ball collides with a human, both will move in opposite directions. So next one. When two ice skaters initially at rest push off one another, their final momenta are A. Equal in magnitude and direction. B. Equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. C. In the same direction but of different magnitudes. Or letter D. In opposite directions and possibly of different magnitudes. I'll repeat. When two ice skaters initially at rest push off one another, their final momenta are A. Equal in magnitude and direction. B. Equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. C. In the same direction but of different magnitudes. Or letter D. In opposite directions and possibly of different magnitudes. The answer is letter B. Equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Excellent. So did our activity simplify your perception about the law of conservation of momentum? Thank you for answering. You're all amazing, grade 9. So to connect and lead our lesson, we will be playing a game called fact or bluff. So there will be statements or scenarios posted on the screen. Your task is to identify if the statement given is a fact or a bluff. Share your guesses on our live stream and type in your answers on our Facebook chat box right now. Ready? Let us begin. So first statement, a basketball will bounce back higher than its height of release. Is it a fact or a bluff? I'll repeat, a basketball will bounce back higher than its height of release. Is it a fact or a bluff? It's a bluff. Have you guessed the first statement correctly? Very good. Next one. A bowling ball will bounce on beach sand. Is it a fact or a bluff? A bowling ball will bounce on beach sand. Is it a fact or a bluff? The statement is a bluff. So third, when you push a wall, the wall pushes you back. When you push a wall, the wall pushes you back. Is it a fact or a bluff? It's a fact. Very good, grade 9. So is it possible that Neptune can collide with Pluto? Is it a fact or a bluff? Of course, the statement is a bluff. Guess that correctly? Excellent. So there is collision in playing chess. Fact or bluff? There is collision in playing chess. Fact or bluff? It's a fact. Whenever you play chess and you've traded or moved the chess pieces, they collide with one another. So, next one. In theory, a planet collided with Earth which brought the extinction of dinosaurs. Fact or bluff? In theory, a planet collided with Earth which brought the extinction of dinosaurs. Is it a fact or a bluff? It's a bluff. It is an asteroid that was mentioned in the theory. Okay? So when you dribble a basketball at an angle, the ball will bounce in the same angle. Fact or bluff? When you dribble a basketball at an angle, the ball will bounce in the same angle. Is it a fact or a bluff? It's a fact. So did you enjoy our activity? Thank you for giving your best effort on answering. Let us deepen our lesson at this point and let us simply define collision. Can you share your simplest definition? hurry and type your answers on our Facebook chat box right now. So collision occurs when two objects free from external forces strike one another. It also happens when objects bumps or clashes on surfaces or on other objects. On your screen, there are examples of objects colliding with each other. We have the players playing basketball, bowling ball colliding with the bowling pins, quarterbacks playing baseball, playing with billiards ball, and a Newton's cradle. So, during and after collision, momentum is conserved. However, this does not necessarily mean that kinetic energy is conserved as well. Collisions are categorized according to what happens to the kinetic energy of the system. Here are the different types of collision. First one, we have elastic collision. Second type of collision is inelastic collision. And the third type is perfectly inelastic collision. So, let us define what is an elastic collision. Elastic collision is the collision in which two objects move separately with different velocities but not permanent deformation. So looking at the figure present, two balls move toward each other and after collision, they move against each other. An elastic collision is a collision in which there is no net loss in kinetic energy in the system due to the collision. So when you throw a ball on the ground and it bounces back to your hand, there is no net change in the kinetic energy and hence it is an elastic collision. So next slide. Inelastic collision, on the other hand, is the collision in which two objects deforms so that the object move in the same direction but with different final velocities after colliding. So in an inelastic collision, the object collided moves at the same direction but of different magnitudes and velocities. Kinetic energy is not conserved in an inelastic collision. The final kinetic energy is less than the initial kinetic energy. So I'll repeat, in elastic collision, it is a collision in which two objects deforms so that the object move in the same direction but with their different final velocities after colliding. Kinetic energy is not conserved in an inelastic collision. The final kinetic energy is less than the initial kinetic energy. Last but not the least, last type of collision is the perfectly inelastic collision. It is a collision in which two objects stick together and move with the same velocity after colliding. So at this moment, let us differentiate elastic and inelastic collision. So in an inelastic collision, kinetic energy is conserved, while kinetic energy is not conserved in an inelastic collision. So momentum is conserved in both collisions. No conversion of energy happens on elastic collision, while in an inelastic collision, kinetic energy is charged or changed into other energy such as sound or heat energy. So another difference between elastic and inelastic is that inelastic collision is the normal form of collision in the real world. On the other hand, elastic collision is highly unlikely in the real world as there is almost always a change in energy. Therefore, inelastic collision is the one that you always see in our everyday lives. So example of an elastic collision are swinging balls or a spacecraft flying near a planet but not getting affected by its gravity in the end. An example of an inelastic collision can be the collision of two cars. So to further understand and concretize the lesson objectives that were mentioned earlier regarding collision, let us do a simple assessment as we categorize the different scenarios pictured and flashed on the screen. So for those of you who are watching our live broadcast, I am encouraging you to comment your answers on our comment box. So let's begin. So for each of the following examples, identify the type of collision. I'll repeat. For each of the following examples, identify the type of collision. Again, the types of collision are elastic, inelastic, and perfectly inelastic. I am encouraging all those live viewers, kindly comment down your answers. So first picture, is it an elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic type of collision? It is a perfectly inelastic collision. Very good. Next picture. So comment your answers, grade 9 learners. What type of collision this might be? Yes, the answer is elastic collision. So how about this next one? It is the recoil of a gun. Is it elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic collision? Very good. It is an elastic collision. So what if an apple falls at the back of a truck and ends up sticking in it? What type of collision is involved? So what if an apple falls back at the truck and ends up sticking in it? What type of collision is involved? So one of the learners commented, perfectly inelastic collision. You got it right. So how about the next one? Two cars moving at the same direction but of different masses. As at the same time, they have different velocities. After colliding, they end up on the same direction without sticking. Is it elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic collision? Yes, it is an inelastic collision. So how about the cars collided and stick together? Is it elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic collision? So how about the cars that collided and stick together? Is it elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic collision? Good job! It's a perfectly inelastic collision. So second to the last picture, guess the collision present on the figure given. The first box, which weighs 1 kilogram, the second box weighs 2 kilogram. Is it elastic, inelastic, or perfectly inelastic? It is an inelastic collision. Last one, how about the collision present on the Newton's cradle? Nicely done. It is elastic collision. So did you get all the correct answers? Amazing, grade 9. Thank you so much, learners, for listening. At this juncture, to deepen our understanding about the law of conservation of momentum and its relation to collision, let us enrich our knowledge with these statements. So for our enrichment, which is also our assignment from the last broadcast, explain why the final velocity of the moving object makes sense in order to conserve total momentum. So take a look at the picture flashed on your screens. The first ball collided with the second ball with the velocity of 3 meters per second. In return, the first ball stops and the second ball moves at a velocity of 3 meters per second. So we can conclude that it is an elastic collision. After the collision of the first ball, it transferred its momentum to the second ball. Since the balls have the same mass, the velocity of the second ball should be the same as the first in order to conserve momentum. So with our second picture, the first box has a mass of 1 kilogram and moves at 4 meters per second, while the second box is at rest and has a mass of 2 kilograms. After collision, the first box stops and the second box moves at 2 meters per second. So after the collision, the first block transferred its momentum to the second block. Since the second block has more mass, the velocity should be less in order to conserve momentum. The block is 2 times bigger and it is 1/2 as fast. And for the third picture, it is the picture of Mr. McDonald colliding with a cart. So after the collision, the cart and McDonald are moving since there is more mass. There should be less velocity to conserve momentum. So let's wrap up today's lesson. Our generalizations of the lesson are the following. Please listen carefully and take note of this. Thank you, and your efforts are recognized. So a collision occurs when two objects come in direct contact with each other. It is the event in which two or more bodies exert forces on each other in about a relative short time. So collisions are categorized according to what happens to the kinetic energy of the system. A collision in which the kinetic energy is conserved is referred to as an elastic collision. The final kinetic energy of the system is equal to its initial kinetic energy. A collision in which the kinetic energy is not conserved is called an inelastic collision. The final kinetic energy is less than the initial kinetic energy. So there you have it, learners. A meaningful lesson broadcast about the law of conservation of momentum as well as collision. So if you want to know more about the law of conservation of momentum, I suggest that you read books about the topic and rediscover useful information for our next topic. Add a little bit of curiosity and deeper understanding. I'm sure that you can learn a lot more as you do self-exploration and hands-on learning. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and thank you for your participation. Stay tuned next week for another exciting broadcast as Sir Glenn S. Pancho will be discussing about the conservation of mechanical energy. Always remember that learning substantial information can give you a nice foundation for achieving quality education. As I leave you with a reminder that you have your free will, you are free to choose, but you are not free from the consequences of your choices. So just keep on tuning in to our radio, TV station, DZTZ 828 Radyo Pilipino Tarlac, and keep watching on RTV Channel 26 and Converge Cable Channel 100 for your new learning experience. Don't forget to like and share RTV Tarlac Facebook page. Once again, I am Teacher Miko P. David, your Grade 9 Science broadcaster. This is all for today, and be a blessing to everyone and to anyone. Stay home, stay safe. See you next time. God bless everyone.
how are you today?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, learners of Tarlac.
Good morning, Math Talino Grade 4 learners.
Welcome to Aral TarlakHenyo
here on RTV Tarlac Channel 26.
Simulcast over DCTC
Radio Filipino Tarlac.
I'm Sir Glenn, your teacher broadcaster.
Broadcasting live here at Paniki Tarlac.
Remotely here in Concepcion, Tarlac.
Live here at Barangay Pedro Elquines, Mayantok, Tarlac.
Broadcasting live from Ramos National High School.
Your anchor teacher today for grade 9 mathematics.
your partner in education this time of pandemic.
Multiply 1089 by 9, you will get an answer, the exact reverse, which is 9,801. My name is JRP Duldulao, your teacher broadcaster on Aral TarlakHenyo. For more math trivia and answers to your math questions, catch Aral TarlakHenyo every Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Learning math is so much fun!
Good afternoon, grade 9 learners. Welcome to Aral TarlakHenyo here on RTV Tarlac Channel 26. Simulcast over GCTC, Radio Filipino Tarlac. And we are also live on Channel 100 of Converge Cable TV. This is Sir Joel Marquez, your anchor teacher today for grade 9 mathematics. In today's lesson, we will be discussing about law of cosines. And you are expected to illustrate law of cosines, appreciate the use of law of cosines in solving oblique triangles. Are you ready to listen? Okay, then get your copy of Mathematics 9 Learner's Material, calculator, pen, and paper with you. Let's start. Before we begin, let's review first your previous lesson about oblique triangles and law of sines by answering the following problems. It is a triangle which does not contain any right angle. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is oblique triangles. Next, it is a triangle whose angles measure less than 90 degrees. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is acute triangle. Next, it is a triangle which one of the angles measures more than 90 degrees. I'll give you 5 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is obtuse triangle. Next, what cases does law of sines can solve? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answers are SAA case, ASA case, and SSA case. Next, find the missing parts of triangle ABC given 2 angles and 1 side. SAA case. Angle A measures 35 degrees, angle C measures 75 degrees, and side A measures 10 units. What is angle B? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 70 degrees. Next, find side B. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 16.38. Next, find side C. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 16.84. Great job, grade 9 learners, if you got them all correctly. Next, find the missing parts of triangle ABC given two angles and the included side, A as a case. Angle A measures 55 degrees, angle B measures 40 degrees, and side C measures 7 units. What is angle C? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 85 degrees. Next, find side B. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 4.52. Next, find side A. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 5.76. Great job, grade 9 learners, if you answered them all correctly. Next, find the missing parts of triangle ABC given two sides and an angle opposite one of the sides, S as a case. Angle C measures 100 degrees, side A measures 10 units, and side C measures 20 units. Since this is SSA case, we need to check first if what possibility number it falls. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. Since angle C is an obtuse angle and side C is greater than side A, then it falls under SSA possibility number 3. So we have one solution. Now, you solve for angle A. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 29.5 degrees. Next, solve for angle B. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 50.5 degrees. Now solve for side B. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is approximately 15.67. Great job, grade 9 learners, if you got them all correct. Next, solve triangle ABC given that A is equal to 10, C is equal to 30, and angle A is equal to 130 degrees. SSA case. Since this is SSA case, we need to check first if what possibility number it falls. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. Since angle A is an obtuse angle and side A is less than side C, then it falls under SSA possibility number 6. So we have no solution. Here is the figure. We know that law of signs can solve cases such as SAA case, ASA case, and SSA case. But how can we solve for problems such as SAS case and SSS case? Well, we will use the law of cosines. Now let us begin with law of cosines. Oblique triangles can also be solved using law of cosines. This law states the following. The square of the length of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, minus the product of twice the two sides and cosine of the angle between them. In symbols, a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc, b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b, and c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. The law of cosines can be used when two sides and the included angle are known, SAS case, or three sides are known, SSS case. Let's have illustrative example number 1. SAS case. Solve triangle ABC given that A is equal to 8, B is equal to 12, and angle C is equal to 80 degrees. Let's solve for side C. We will use the formula C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. Substitute the given values we have. C squared equals 8 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 8 times 12 times cosine 80 degrees. 8 squared is 64. 12 squared is 144. Negative 2 times 8 times 12 is negative 100. And cosine 80 is 0.1736. 64 plus 144 is 208. And negative 192 times 0.1736 is 33.3312. 208 minus 33.3312 is 174.6688. Square root both sides of the equation, we get C is equal to 13.22. Now let's solve for angle A. We will use the formula A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2bc cosine 8. Substitute the given values we have. 8 squared equals 12 squared plus 13.22 squared minus 2 times 12 times 13.22 times cosine 8. 8 squared is 64. 12 squared is 144. 13.22 squared is 174.77. Negative 2 times 12 times 13.22 is negative 317.28. 144 plus 174.77 is 318.77. Transpose 318.77 to the left side of the equation. 64 minus 318.77 is negative 254.77. Divide both sides of the equation by negative 317.28. We get 0.803 equals cosine A. Isolate A, we get arc cosine 0.803 equals A. Using your scientific calculator, arc cosine 0.803 is 36.58 degrees. Angle A is approximately equal to 36.58 degrees. Now let's solve for angle B, using the concept of sum of angles of a triangle. Substitute the values, we get 36.58 plus angle B plus 80 equals 180. 36.58 plus 80 is 116.58. Transpose 116.58 to the right side of the equation. 180 minus 116.58 is 63.42. So angle B is 63.42 degrees. Let's have illustrative example number 2. SSS case. Solve triangle ABC given that A is equal to 15, B is equal to 10, and C is equal to 20. Let's solve for angle A. We will use the formula A square equals B square plus C square minus 2BC cosine A. Substitute the given values. We have 15 square equals 10 square plus 20 square minus 2 times 10 times 20 times cosine A. 15 square is 225, 10 square is 100, 20 square is 400, negative 2 times 10 times 20 is negative 400. 100 plus 400 is 500. Transpose 500 to the left side of the equation. 225 minus 500 is 275. Divide both sides of the equation by negative 400, we get 0.6875 equals cosine A. Isolate A, we get arc cosine negative 1, 0.6875 equals A. Using your scientific calculator, arc cosine 0.6875 is 46.57. So, angle A is equal to 46.57 degrees. Now let's solve for angle B. We will use the formula B square equals A square plus C square minus 2AC cosine B. Substitute the given values. We have 10 square equals 15 square plus 20 square minus 2 times 15 times 20 times cosine B. 10 square is 100, 15 square is 225, 20 square is 400, negative 2 times 15 times 20 is negative 600. 225 plus 400 is 625. Transpose 625 to the left side of the equation. 100 minus 625 is negative 525. Divide both sides of the equation by 600, we get 0.875 equals cosine B. Isolate B, we get arc cosine 0.875 equals B. Using your scientific calculator, arc cosine 0.875 is 28.96. So, angle B is equal to 28.96 degrees. Now let's solve for angle C, using the concept of sum of angles of a triangle. Substitute the values, we get 46.57 plus 28.96 plus angle C equals 180. 46.57 plus 28.96 is 75.53. And 75.53 to the right side of the equation. 180 degrees minus 75.53 degrees is 104.47 degrees. So, angle C is 104.47 degrees. To summarize our lesson, law of cosines states that the square of the length of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, minus the product of twice the two sides and cosine of the angle between them. It can be used when two sides and the included angle are known, as a S case, or three sides are known, as SS case. Now let's have a short evaluation about law of cosines. Solve triangle ABC given that A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, and angle C is equal to 75 degrees. Let's start. What is the length of side C? I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Up, the answer is 19.91. Next, what is measure angle A? I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 29.03 degrees. Next, what is measure angle B? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 75.97 degrees. Next problem, solve triangle ABC given that A is equal to 20, B is equal to 15, and C is equal to 22. What is measure angle A? I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 62.08 degrees. Next, what is measure angle B? I'll give you 30 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 41.50 degrees. Next, what is measure angle C? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Time's up. The answer is 76.42 degrees. Great job, grade 9 learners, if you got them all correct. So we were able to learn about law of cosines. Let us put that understanding to the test by answering the items in the learning activity sheet. Please take a screenshot of the learning activity sheet. Answer the questions in a clean sheet of paper and submit your paper to your math teacher. Well, that's all for now. I hope you learned a lot today. This is Sir Joel Marquez, your anchor teacher. Until next time, keep safe.
Alam niyo ba na ang Pilipinas ay mayroong 7,641 islands? Mula sa bilang na 7,107 islands, nadagdagan ito ng 534 na isla noong 2017. Tanging 2,000 lamang sa mga islang ito ang natitirhan. Alam niyo na! Yan ang mga isla sa Pilipinas.
Alam niyo ba, ang Balanggiga Bells ay kinuha ng mga sundalong Amerikano bilang war trophies pagkatapos ng Balanggiga Massacre noong 1901? Matapos ang 117 years, na ibalik ng US noong December 11, 2018 ang iconic church bells sa Pilipinas. Ang church bells na ito ay naglalarawan ng kalayaan, katapangan, at pananampalataya ng mga Pilipino. Alam niyo na! Yan ang Balanggiga Bells.
Kumusta mga giliw kong tagapakinig?
Nagbabalik ang inyong paaralang panghimpapawid.
Aral TarlakHenyo
Sa RTV Tarlac, Channel 26,
at sa bayang naririnig sa DZTC 828,
Radyo Pilipino Tarlac.
Tayo rin ay napapanood sa FB Live ng RTV Tarlac Channel 26.
Sumasahimpapawid mula sa bayan ng Pura Tarlac,
mula sa bayan ng San Clemente.
Mula rito sa Purok Elementary School, Pura Tarlac.
sa bayan ng Kapas Tarlac.
ako, ang inyong guro,
na maghahatid sa inyo ng makabuluhang pagtalakay sa ating aralin.
Ang Tagalog ay ang wika ng mga taga-Quezon, Batangas, Bulacan at ng iba pang katutubong nagsasalita nito. Ang Filipino ay ang pambansang wika batay sa tinadhana ng 1987 Constitution. Tara na at matuto ng salitang Filipino. Manood at makinig ng Aral TarlakHenyo sa RTV Tarlac, Channel 26 at sa bayang naririnig sa Radyo Pilipino, DZTZ 828 at napapanood din live sa FB page at YouTube channel ng RTV Tarlac, Channel 26. Manood at matuto ng ating mga aralin sa Pilipino. Dito lang yan sa Aral TarlakHenyo. Ako si Ma'am Crystal May Aquino, ang inyong teacher broadcaster sa Pilipino.
Magandang araw, Tarlac! Magandang araw, mga kapantas! Sumasa inyo ang Aral TarlakHenyo mula sa RTV Tarlac, Channel 26 at sa bayang naririnig sa DZTZ 828 Radyo Pilipino Tarlac at napapanood sa Converge Channel 100. Ako si Binibining LC Rico, ang inyong teacher broadcaster para sa asignaturang Filipino ng ika-9 na baita. Ako ay inyong naririnig at napapanood ng live mula sa San Vicente, Tarlac City sa pamamagitan ng remote live broadcast. Kumusta mga kapantas? Panibagong araw na naman ang ating pagsasaluhan. At hatid nito ang hitik sa kaalaman at mabungang pagkatuto. Kaya tandaan ang 3 S. Saglit, subalit, sulit. Saglit lamang ang 25 minutong talakayan, subalit sulit naman ang inyong matututuhan na may 3 T. Tumpak, tiyak, at tatatak. O mga kapantas, handa na ba kayong matuto? Kung ganoon, ay humanap na ng maaliwalas at komportableng lugar. Ihanda mo rin ang iyong kompendyum, malinis na papel, panulat at higit lalo ang iyong sarili upang marinig at maunawa ang mabuti ang ating aralin. Bago natin simulan ang isang makabuluhang talakayan, ay nais ko munang magbalik-tanaw tayo sa nakaraang aralin mula kay Ginoong J.R. Ginto. Naaalala niyo pa ba kung ano ang araling kanyang tinalakay? Mahusay! Ito nga ay ang masasalimuot na mga kabanata ng Noli Me Tangere tungkol sa kapahamakan ni Ibarra, ang pagdidiin sa kanya sa maraming pagkakasala at kung paano siya tinulungan ni Elias. Natunghayan rin sa kabanatang tinalakay ang pag-iibigan nila ni Maria Clara. Upang subukin kung tunay ngang tumimo sa inyong isipan ang nakaraang talakayan, ay magkakaroon tayo ng isang gawaing tinatawag na tumpak o ligwak. Para sa ating panuto, i-type o isulat ang tumpak kung ang pahayag ay wasto at ligwak naman kung hindi. Para sa unang tanong, si Ibarra ay nagtungo sa bahay ni Piloso Potasio upang humingi ng suhestyon sa ipapatayong paaralan. Kung ang sagot mo ay tumpak, tama ka, kapantas. Para naman sa ikalawang bilang, sa gabi ng pagdiriwang sa bahay ni Kapitan Tiago, ay hinandugan niya si Maria Clara ng singsing. Kung ang sagot mo ay ligwak, mahusay ka, kapantas. Para naman sa ikatlong bilang, pinatamaan ni Padre Damaso ang kanyang sermon, si Ibarra, na labis na ikinagalit ng binata. Ulitin ko, pinatamaan ni Padre Damaso sa kanyang sermon si Ibarra na labis na ikinagalit ng binata. Kung ang sagot mo ay tumpak, magaling kapantas, tama ang iyong sagot. Para sa ika-4 na bilang, ang madilaw na lalaki ang nadaganan ng bato sa araw ng paghugos. Kung ang sagot mo ay tumpak. Tama ka, kapantas. At para sa ikalimang bilang, patuloy ang pagpaparinig ni Padre Damaso sa tanghalian kasama sina Ibarra. Kaya naman, hindi na napigilan ng binata ang kanyang sarili at muntik niyang masaksak si Padre Damaso. Kung ang sagot mo ay tumpak, natumbok mo ang tamang sagot, kapantas. Nagagalak naman akong natandaan niyo pa ang nakaraang talakayan at batid ko, handa na kayong matuto ng bagong aralin. At dahil dyan, ang ating tatalakayin sa araw na ito ay antas ng wika ayon sa formalidad. Narito ang kasanayang pampagkatuto na dapat matamo pagkatapos ng talakayan. Napapangkat ang mga salita ayon sa formalidad ng gamit nito. Nais kong pansinin ninyo mga kapantas ang usapan sa mga larawan na nakikita ninyo sa inyong screen. Naintindihan nyo ba ang sinasabi nila mga kapantas? Nagugulahan ba kayo sa salitang naririnig nyo sa inyong paligid? Easy ka lang kapantas dahil iyan ay bahagi ng mundo ng komunikasyon at ngayong araw ay pag-uusapan natin ang masalitang mundo ng wika. Tol, Pal, nag 1, 2, 3 na, takbo na. Charot, corny. Kung magiging mapanuri at mapag-obserba tayo sa mga salitang ginagamit ng mga tao, mapapansin mo, nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba sa uri ng salitang ginagamit depende sa lugar, okasyon, panahon, gayon din sa taong kausap. Halimbawa, kung makakasalubong mo ang iyong guro, ay tiyak na magiging formal ang iyong pananalita, katulad ng, "Magandang hapon po, Binibining Santos." Ngunit, nagbabago ito kapag nakakasalubong mo sa daan ang iyong matalik na kaibigan at nagiging, "Beshi, musta ka na? Kita-kits mamaya sa party." Ilan lamang yan sa mga patunay na ang wika ay nagbabago depende sa sitwasyon. Interesado ka bang malaman pa ang antas ng mga ito? Tara na mga kapantas at sabay-sabay nating tuklasin ang yaman ng wika at makapagpapalawak sa kakayahang komunikatif. Ngunit bago yan, alamin muna natin kung ano ang wika ayon kay Dr. Jose Villa Panganiban. Ang wika ay paraan ng pagpapahayag ng damdamin at opinyon sa pamamagitan ng mga salita upang magkaunawaan ang mga tao. Ibig sabihin, ang wika ay isang kasangkapan upang makapagpahayag ang isang tao ng kanyang naiisip, maibahagi ang kanyang karanasan at maipadama ang kanyang nararamdaman. Ang wika ay may dalawang kaantasan, ang formal at di formal. Ang formal ay ang mga salitang pamantayan dahil ito ay kinikilala, tinatanggap at ginagamit ng karamihang nakapag-aral sa wika. Lehitimo kung ituring ang mga ito. Ginagamit ito sa loob ng paaralan, sa opisina, at halos sa lahat ng bahagi ng ahensya, ng lipunan, maging sa paglilimbag ng mga aklat. Ito rin ang ating tanging gamit. Nauuri ito sa dalawa, pambansa at pampanitikan. Sa kabilang banda ay ang informal o di formal. Ito naman ang salitang karaniwang ginagamit sa pakikipag-usap sa mga kakilala o kaibigan. Ito ay nauuri sa tatlo, balbal, kolokyal at lalawiganin. Halina't ating isa-isahin ang mga antas ng wika kapantas. Simulan natin sa pinakamababang antas papunta sa pinakamataas na antas. May ipapakita akong clip mula sa vlog ni Will Dasovich na The Art of Tagalog Canto Voice. Pansinin ang mga salitang ito. Astig, butangero, may Smirnoff, wangbu. Pamilyar ba kayo sa mga salitang iyan? Ang mga salitang iyan ay ilan lamang sa mga halimbawa ng salitang balbal. Ang balbal ang itinuturing na pinakamababang antas ng wika na may katumbas na islang sa Ingles. Ito ay mga salitang pangkalye o panlansangan na tinatawag ding singaw sa panahon, sapagkat bawat panahon ay may nabubuong salita, karaniwang nabubuo ng isang grupo na nagsisilbing koda nila sa kanilang pakikipag-usap. Ilan pa sa mga halimbawa ng balbal ay ang gay linggo, jejemon, bekimon, at anumang mga salitang maririnig sa kalye o lansangan. Upang lubos na maintindihan ay narito ang ilang halimbawa. Parak, pulis, eskapo, takas sa bilangguan, palbinik, taong maraming balahibo, dabarkads, barkada, ermat, erpat, nanay, tatay. O kapantas, subukan mo namang ikaw ang magbigay ng mga halimbawa. Maaari nyo itong itype sa comment section at isulat sa inyong kwaderno. Mula kay Clarice Nogoy ng TNHS Annex, ang kanyang halimbawa na ibinahagi ay Lodi, Petmalu, at Werpa. Magaling kapantas! Ilan lamang yan sa mga halimbawa ng balbal. Dumako naman tayo sa susunod. Oops! May nag-tweet. Nag-tweet si Vice Ganda at pansinin natin ang mga komento mula sa tweet niya. Pansinin ang mga salita. Bala, teka, kalma lang po. Kailangan, yaan mo na sila. Ata. Ang mga salitang nabasa sa komento ay halimbawa ng kolokyal. Ang kolokyal ay mga salitang ginagamit sa pang-araw-araw na hinalaw sa formal na salita. Ginagamit ito sa okasyong informal at isinasaalang-alang ang salitang madaling maintindihan. Madalas, ito ay ang mga salitang pinaikli na ating naririnig. Upang lubos na maintindihan ay narito ang ilang halimbawa. Lika, halika. Naron mula sa salitang naroon. Antay, hintay. Ganon, ganoon. Wag, wag. Sige nga mga kapantas, magbigay naman kayo ng iba pang halimbawa. Maaari ninyo itong i-comment sa comment section at isulat sa inyong kwaderno. Mula naman kay Angel Malyari. Ang kanyang ibinahagi ay teka at dude. Okay, tama. Mahusay kapantas. Alamin naman natin ang susunod. Pansinin ang mga salitang ginamit sa mga larawan na nakikita ninyo sa inyong screen. Ang mga salita at pahayag na nabasa natin ay halimbawa ng mga salitang lalawiganin. Ang lalawiganin ay ang mga salitang karaniwang ginagamit ng mga katutubo sa lalawigan gaya ng Cebuano, Chavacano, Bicolano at iba pang may tatak lalawigan sa kanilang pagsasalita. Ito rin ay mga salitang hindi pamilyar na gamitin sa ibang lugar. Tandaan lamang na ang salitang lalawiganin ay mula sa ibang lalawigan o probinsya. Upang lubos na maintindihan, ay narito ang ilang halimbawa. Gamitin natin ang salitang kaibigan. Ang kaibigan ay salitang Tagalog, sa Ilocano, gayam, sa Cebuano, higala, at sa Bicolano, amiga. Para naman sa susunod, ay sabayan niyo akong basahin ang isang balita. Seguridad ng Pinoy healthcare workers tiyak na. Manila, Philippines. Magkakaroon na ng higit na seguridad ang mga Pinoy health workers matapos nalagdaan ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang batas na nagbibigay mandato para sa tuloy-tuloy na benepisyo nila lalo na sa panahon ng COVID-19 at iba pang public health emergencies na posibleng mangyari sa hinaharap. Ang ganitong uri ng pakikipagtalastasan ay tinatawag na pambansa. Ano nga ba ang pambansa? Ang pambansa ay ginagamit sa mga aklat, babasahin, at pahayagan. Ito rin ang wikang ginagamit sa mga paaralan at pamahalaan. Salitang higit na kilala o ginagamit sa puok na sentro ng kalakalan. Ibig sabihin, ang salitang ito ay madalas makita sa mga binabasang aklat, lalong-lalo na sa paaralan. Ito rin ang mga salitang ginagamit sa pamahalaan kapag nakikipag-usap sa mamamayan. Upang lubos na maintindihan ay narito ang ilang halimbawa. Aklat, ina, ama, dalaga, at masaya. Ito ang mga salitang madalas nating naririnig sa pang-araw-araw kapag tayo'y nasa paaralan, mula sa telebisyon, maging sa radyo at iba pa. Atin namang basahin ang pahayag na ito. Ang buhay na hindi ginugugol sa isang malaki at banal na kadahilanan ay kahoy na walang lihid, kundi damong makamandag. Ito ay unang nakasulat sa Kartilya ng Katipunan ni Emilio Jacinto. Mapapansin ang paggamit ng malalalim na salita na may malalim ding kahulugan. Ang ganitong uri ng wika ay tinatawag na pampanitikan. Ano nga ba ang pampanitikan? Ang pampanitikan ang pinakamayamang uri ng wika kung saan kadalasay ginagamit ang salita sa ibang kahulugan. Gumagamit ng idioma, tayutay, at iba pang tono, tema, at punto. Ang wikang pampanitikan ay malayang ginagamit sa paglikha ng dula, katha, palabas, at iba pang akdang pampanitikan. Upang lubos na maintindihan ay narito ang ilang halimbawa. Mabulaklak ang dila, ibig sabihin, siya ay mahilig pumuri ng tao o bolero. Kaututang dila, ibig sabihin, laging kakwentuhan. Balat sibuyas, maramdamin. Taingang kawali, nagbibingi-bingihan. Ngayon naman kapantas, subukang magbigay ng iba pang halimbawa. Maaari nyo itong itype sa comment section o isulat sa inyong kwaderno. Naunawaan ba ang bawat antas ng wika kapantas? Mabuti kung ganoon. Ngayon ay ihanda mo ang iyong sarili dahil tatayain natin kung naunawaan mo ba ng lubos ang ating tinalakay. Alalahanin ang antas ng wika mula sa mababang antas, ang balbal, kolokyal, lalawiganin, pambansa at pampanitikan. Oras na para gamitin ang iyong natutuhan tungkol sa antas ng wika ayon sa formalidad. Ang gawaing ating sasagutan ay makikita rin sa inyong compendium sa pahina 23. Handa na ba kayo? Kung ganoon, ay magsimula na tayo. Narito ang panuto. Pangkatin ang mga salitang nasa loob ng kahon ayon sa antas ng formalidad. Maaari na kayong magsimula. sagot mo ay ang mga sumusunod, pasok ka sa banga, kapantas. Para sa balbal, basahin natin isa-isa. Tolits, yosi, sikyo, bongga, astig. Para naman sa kolokyal, musta, teka, andali, yano, at kako. Para naman sa lalawiganin, achi, bilas, amiga, tatang, at papa. Para naman sa pambansa, upuan, computer, silid-aralan, alikabok, kapitbahay. At para naman sa pampanitikan, di mali parang uwak, kapit-tupo, kaututang dila, maningalang pugad, at kabutihang palad. Binabati ko kayo, kapantas, palakpakan nyo ang inyong sarili. Tiyak na nakakuha kayo ng mataas na puntos sa ating gawain. Kung hindi naman, ay huwag kang malungkot dahil maaari ka pang bumawi sa mga susunod nating aralin. Kaya't ipagpatuloy mo lang ang iyong magandang gawi sa pag-aaral. At dyan nagtatapos ang ating talakayan. Maraming salamat sa inyong partisipasyon, mga kapantas. Lubha akong nagagalak na kayo'y nakasama ko sa araw na ito. Naging kawili-wili at produktibo ang ating talakayan dahil sa inyong masigasig na pakikibahagi. Magkita-kita tayong muli sa susunod na talakayan. Naway, baunin nyo ang lahat ng inyong mga natutuhan sa ating paksa ngayong araw. Alalahanin, ang kaalaman ay hindi lamang ikinikintal sa isip at itinatatak sa puso, kundi ito'y nararapat na isinasabuhay at ibinabahagi sa iba upang ang pagkatutoy patuloy na lumaganap at umunlad. Naway ang lahat ng aral na napulot ninyo ay inyong isabuhay. Muli, ako si Binibining Elsie Rico, ang inyong teacher broadcaster sa Filipino ng ika-9 na baitang. Ako rin ang sumulat ng script na ito na ipinagtibay ni Dr. Roland D. Galamay, dalubguro ng Corazon C. Aquino High School. Laging tandaan, mga kapantas, walang ligaya sa lupa na hindi dinilig ng luha. Ang pag-aaral ng mabuti ang susi sa ating magandang kinabukasan. Hanggang sa muli, mga kapantas, ingat kayong lahat.
Ang dagdag na 2 taon sa high school ay malaking bahagi ng programang K-12 sa ating bansa. Pinag-aralan ng mabuti ng Kagawaran ng Edukasyon o DEPED ang nilalaman at paraan ng pagkatuto sa 2 taong ito na tinatawag ngayong senior high school. Sa pamamagitan ng senior high school, tinitiyak ng DEPED ang kalidad ng edukasyon na may malinaw na patutunguhan anuman ang iyong pag-aralan. May 15 core, 7 applied at 9 na specialized subjects ang senior high school. Sa kabuuan, may 31 subjects ang senior high school. Katumbas ito ng 4 na semestre na may 2 quarter bawat semestre. Ang mga paksa sa bawat aralin ay mahalaga upang maihanda ang mga mag-aaral sa 4 na curriculum exit gaya ng kolehiyo, trabaho, middle-level skills development at negosyo. Kahit anong track ang piliin ng isang mag-aaral, maaari siyang magpatuloy sa alinman sa 4 na posibleng curriculum exit. Mayroong 4 na track ang senior high school. 1. Academic track. 2. Technical Vocational Livelihood track. 3. Arts and Design track. At 4. Sports track. Ang senior high school academic track. Upang makatugon sa mabilis na pagbabago ng ating panahon, tinitiyak ng senior high school program na handa ang mga magsisipagtapos dito sa mga hamon ng pagbabago. Sa academic track, ang mga nagsipagtapos ay maaaring makapagpatuloy ng pag-aaral sa kolehiyo, mag-aral ng mas mataas na mga kasanayan o middle-level skills, magtrabaho o magnegosyo. 4 na strand ang maaari nilang pagpilian sa academic track. 1. Accountancy, Business and Management o ABM strand. 2. Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics o STEM strand. 3. Humanities and Social Science or HUMS strand. At 4. General Academic strand o GAS. Ang ABM strand ay para sa mga mag-aaral na nais kumuha ng kurso sa kolehiyo, kaugnay ng finance, business, o accounting. Ang STEM strand ay para naman sa mga mag-aaral na may kakayahan o interes sa science, technology, engineering at mathematics. Sa STEM, mayroong mga science lessons na kasama na sa core subjects, kaya papalitan ito ng earth science at disaster readiness. Upang mapabilang sa STEM, kailangan ng final grade na di bababa sa 85 sa grade 10 math at science. Percentile rank na 86 o higit pa sa STEM subtest sa National Career Assessment Examination o NCAE. Kung walang NCAE, maaaring makipag-ugnayan sa paaralang nais ninyo hinggil sa mga requirements. Ang HUME strand ay para sa mga estudyanteng nais kumuha ng mga kursong kaugnay ng social sciences at humanities tulad ng journalism, communication arts, liberal arts, education, sociology, psychology, at iba pa. Ang general academic strand ay para sa mga mag-aaral na nais maging bukas sa mga options o electives mula sa iba't ibang tracks tulad ng academic, TVL, sports, at arts and design. Narito ang mga specialized subjects sa ilalim ng academic track. A. ABM strand. Applied Economics, Business Ethics and Social Responsibility. Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management. Business Math. Business Finance. Organization and Management. Principles of Marketing. B. STEM strand. Pre-Calculus. Basic Calculus. General Biology. General Physics. General Chemistry. Earth Science. Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction. C. Hume's strand. Creative Writing. Creative Nonfiction. Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems. Community Engagement, Solidarity, and Citizenship. Philippine Politics and Governance. Trends, Networks, and Critical Thinking in the 21st Century. Disciplines and Ideas in the Social Sciences. Disciplines and Ideas in the Applied Social Sciences. D. General Academic strand. Humanities, Social Science, Applied Economics, Organization and Management, Disaster Readiness and Reduction, Electives. Maraming kurso ang maaaring pag-aralan ng mga nakatapos ng kahit anong strand sa academic track na kalaunan ay mapakikinabangan nila sa pagtatrabaho. Narito ang ilang halimbawa. Ang mga mag-aaral na nakapagtapos ng ABM strand ay maaaring pumili ng kurso sa kolehiyo na kaugnay sa trabaho ng isang accountant, bookkeeper, market analyst, entrepreneur, financial advisor, business agent, manager, product and service innovator, portfolio manager, advertiser, o bank teller. Ang mga mag-aaral na nakatapos ng STEM strand ay maaaring pumili ng kurso sa kolehiyo na kaugnay sa trabaho ng isang engineer, medical professional, professor, instructor o teacher, architect, product designer, scientist, veterinarian, dentist, chemist, physicist, pharmacist, graphic designer, at automobile designer. Ang mga mag-aaral na nakapagtapos ng Hume Strand ay maaaring pumili ng kurso sa kolehiyo na kaugnay sa trabaho ng isang teacher, instructor o professor, education specialist, guidance counselor, lawyer, writer o author, psychologist, social worker, public servant, journalist, film director, social entrepreneur o influencer. Ang mga mag-aaral na nakapagtapos ng GA Strand ay maaaring pumili ng kurso sa kolehiyo, subalit dapat isaalang-alang ang mga prerequisite subjects ng ninanais na kurso.
Magandang buhay! Narito pong muli ang inyong lingkod, Kirsten Joy Pastor Gorino ng Kabanabahan Elementary School para sa School Heads Hour. Tayo po ay napapakinggan sa DZTC 828 Radyo Filipino Tarlac at mapapanood din sa RTV Tarlac Channel 26, Converge TV Channel 100 at RTV Tarlac Channel 26 Facebook Live. Tayo po ngayon ay live via remote broadcast dito sa Capiling West District, Capiling Tarlac. Of course, it is my honor and privilege na maging parte po ng episode na ito ngayong araw at makasama at ma-interview ang mga magagaling nating mga school heads ng Cluster 1. Ayan po sila. Join me and welcoming them. We have, of course, Dr. Ferdinand Gregorio of Marawi National High School. Of course, we also have Dr. Aurora Julian of Wood High School, of course. And for Malacapa National High School, we have Dr. Ruel Tijada. And last but not the least, syempre, Dr. Edward Pala of Kaanambungan High School. Ayan. Good afternoon, ma'am at mga sir, mga magagaling na school heads. I will give you your time na magbigay greeting sa ating mga viewers at ating mga listeners.
Isang mapagpalang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa mga nakikinig at nanonood sa istasyong ito, lalong-lalo na sa aking mga kasamahan sa Marawi National High School at mga dating kasama sa Birbira High School at sa lahat po ng nakikinig at nanonood sa RTV Tarlac Channel 26.
Good afternoon po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga listeners and viewers. Pinabati ko na rin yung mga kasama ko sa Kaanamungan National High School. Happy birthday, Sir Arman. And congratulations po sa aking pamangkin, si Yanes Pala, for winning the Bikini Philippines.
Wow! How about you, Sir Well?
Yes, good afternoon to everybody, especially to Malacam Pamilya, headed by our school principal, Dr. Susan Grespi Pasqua. And also, good afternoon to my kids who are watching right now, and also to my wife watching live in Israel.
Wow! Israel ka talaga. How about you, Ma'am Aurora?
Okay, good afternoon sa ating mga listeners and viewers sa RTV Channel 26 at saka sa DCTC 828 at hello na rin sa aking mga kasama sa Duwag High School at sa aking former school, Kalangitan High School at saka sa Birbira High School.
Okay, so yan, naka-greeting na sa. So it's my time. I would like to greet personally, andito po tayo ngayon, live pong na viewer natin, si Dr. Joel Esquiel. Hi, sir! Nasa studio po siya. Of course, with Dr. Emmanuel Reganit. Hi, Sir Eman, ang ating EPSBR and ESP. Together with Sir Jonathan Gamboa, ang ating EPSBR in English. And together with yung Untiring District Supervisor, Dr. Catalina Gasanya. Thank you for having us, Madam. Bye, sir! Ang sisipag po nila talaga sobra. Okay, so go back. For this episode, may mga series of questions tayong inihanda with regards to managing school operations and resources in the expansion of limited face-to-face classes. All the organizations require effective and efficient management. Being effective is evident if one is doing a certain task appropriately, while efficiently or efficiency is observed if the task is done with accuracy. It is through management that the vision, and goals of an organization are realized through the efforts of all the people who walked in one direction to attain the desired goal. We are all aware that the school's division of Tarlac province is already 100% in terms of the expansion of the limited face-to-face classes implementation. One of the strands of managing school operations and resources is what we call the record management. Now, for my question, nalalaman natin ang katalinuhan at makapag-share ang ating mga school heads sa kanilang mga insights, especially their best practices na kanilang ginagawa mismo sa kanilang eskwelahan. Okay. Are you ready for my first question? Okay. Can you share with us what is the best practice of your school that you are utilizing in terms of safekeeping of school data and information now that we are having the limited face-to-face classes? Okay, first to recite. Joke lang, sir. Okay, first to impart or share their best practice in their school, we have Dr. Ruel Tejada of Malacampan National High School.
Thank you, Ma'am Christine. Okay, so one of the best practices that we have in Malacampan National High School, through the leadership, of course, of our school principal, Dr. Susan Grace Pasqua, in terms of safekeeping of school data and information, is by updating our Microsoft system services using our Microsoft 0365. In this system, we should be able to create school-based hotline and portal that will equip timely and reliable data and information.
Okay, so napaka-high-tech, no, sir? So they are utilizing the Microsoft 0365. Okay, now, how about you, Dr. Pala? Ano yung best practice po ng inyong school sa Kaanamungan High School?
Aside from the traditional cabinets and folders and bulletin boards na ginagamit for safekeeping of data, I guess this is the practice not only Kaanamungan natin ng high school is doing, but also in other schools.
Yes.
By using Google Drive to save and collect school data and information. This pandemic has taught us to maximize the use of technology, social media, and different platforms to disseminate and gather information. Dati ang messenger, ginagamit lang for chat, sa love life, kung meron na, pero kung wala, edi gawin na natin para sa MOVs, yung data collection natin. Ginagamit rin yun, and it works kasi napadali ang process ng data safekeeping. May Google link na rin ang QR code na ginagamit for enrollment and requesting for school forms. And we will continue and improve this practice now that we are having face-to-face classes.
Okay, so as you stated earlier, sir, yung sa Messenger, let me just share to you na katulad din sa Cabanabaan Elementary School, we are utilizing the Messenger not only in disseminating information but also for saving documents, pictures, and all others. Actually, may GC kami for pictures alone, for documents alone. So maganon. So pwede nyo siya talaga i-utilize. Very good practice.
But we should be mindful also of the data privacy.
Yes. Okay, so as the school head, how do you properly utilize your financial resources now that we have shifted to the expansion of limited face-to-face classes? Okay, Dr. Gregorio.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so in Malawi National High School, we are applying the rule of prioritization. What is most urgent and needed is what we will procure. For example, hygienic and sanitation supplies such as alcohol, Clorox and others are the most needed items. Then this should be procured following the provision of the Government Procurement Act.
Okay.
Sa totoo lang, isa sa mga dapat taglayin ng isang school leader sa mga panahong ito, especially we are now in the progressive expansion of the face-to-face, ay ang pagbabudget. There is scarce ang resources. Halos lahat ay napupunta sa procurement ng printing of supplies and equipment for the production of modules. We should be wise spender of school resources, especially our finances.
Okay, so napakaganda po sa Marawi National High School. Talagang, as we observe, talagang napaka-sparse lang ng budget talaga. So, napaka-importante ng mga school heads natin ay marunong mag-budget. Okay, kasi pagkakasyahin talaga yan. At tama yung sinabi niya, prioritization, yun ang ginagawa din. How about in Wood High School, Ma'am Aurora?
At the start of the school year in Dole High School of 2021 and 2022, the Secretary Briones already stated in all her interviews about her intention of having a limited face-to-face class. So, lalong-lalo na sa mga low-risk areas. So, kami bilang kabilang sa last mile school na may tutoring or mountain schools. So, upon the issuance of the DMT, Joint Memorandum Circular 2021-004 Guidelines on the Limited Face-to-Face Classes, so we already done our work and financial plan in our school, high school. So, for the following fiscal year, na naka-ready na yung submitted prior pa sa limitation niya as of. So, nabasa na namin yung nilalaman ng DMC. So through the assistance ng aming masipag at mabait na PSDS, Dr. Josephine Duplique, yung mga kailangan for the preparation of the limited face-to-face at yung mga priority na dapat yun nga yung sinabi ni Sir Ferdinand kanina na prioritization. So, na-allot na namin earlier pa. So, bago ang sa work and financial plan, bago yung 3 months prior sa implementation ng business.
So nakikita natin mag-dear school heads, sa mga best practices ng bawat school, talagang maayos siya when it comes to budgeting. Yes. Okay, so maayos na procure ang mga dapat mag-procure. Okay, now, what is the best practice of your school in terms of managing facilities and equipment as one of the indicators or strands of managing school operations? Ano naman yung best practice natin in terms of school facilities and equipment? We have Dr. Ruel of Malacca National High School.
Thank you, Ma'am Christine. Okay, so in our school, one of the best practices we have in terms of managing equipment and facilities is the project SAFE. SAFE stands for School Building and Equipment Assessment for Lifetime Use to ensure safety. In this program, our school head, Dr. Susan Grespi Pascual, instruct our property custodian to conduct quarterly inventory and assessment of the school buildings, equipment, and facilities. So the custodian should prepare a report which will serve as the basis if there are consumable equipment or if there are facilities.
So yun naman sa Malacca National High School. Meron silang project, which is Project SAFE. So madali siyang tandaan, How about in Marawi National High School, Dr. Gregorio?
In our school, for the equipment, we have our weekly maintenance schedule. Especially for our printers, laptops na talaga namang worn out sila na itong mga gamit na ito. in our school-owned radio. Patuloy na nag-i-exist ito, ginagamit pa rin namin. In terms of our school facilities, maintenance is what we are making. Maintenance. We also clean and disinfect this in order to avoid the possible transmission of virus or agents. For those facilities that needing repair, we are allotting budget from the MOOE or maintenance and other operating expenses fund. And we are also outsourcing from the stakeholders, no? Ito yung bayanihan, no? Tinatawag natin, who are generously helping our schools. We are executing deeds, no? Yung deed of donation and acceptance, and memorandum of agreement or MOA in order to make these actions valid, legal, and binding. Yan.
So, ang ganda nung sa Marawi National High School, talagang yung mga school facilities and equipments ninyo are properly taken care of. So, ang gaganda, talagang maayos, kumbaga, ito yung showcase ng school ninyo as their best practice. Okay. So, how about you, Dr. Pala, of Kanamungan National High School?
In managing school facilities and equipment sa Kanamungan School, the school clientele must know first the purpose of these facilities and how to use it. There is someone who is designated to take care of these facilities and in charge of this equipment. And school personnel are oriented in the process of protocol to maximize the use of these facilities. Logbooks are also used to record kung ano man ang mga equipment na ginamit ng mga learners or mga teachers. Then the teacher in charge will report on the functionality of these facilities at kung paano, ano pang mga equipment ang kailangan para mabili or may provide at para may provide ang mga ito and to maintain its purpose for the benefit of the learners.
So talagang properly recorded, kumbaga lahat ano sir, organized and recorded.
Yes.
Of course, ang mag-benefit naman talaga dyan, our main clientele, ang ating mga learners. So very good naman ang Kanamungan National High School. So we all know that being a school head requires lots of responsibilities. School operates because it has one of the main essentials, which are the teachers. So they are one of the main essentials talaga para mag-operate ang school natin. So part of managing school operations is proper management of staff. What best practice or practices can you share on how to help them grow professionally and to motivate them in their chosen field? Ayan. So, minsan kasi one of the main role of a school head ay yung talagang kailangan mong mag-motivate mga teachers. Bakit? Para sa school din at sa mga main clientele natin, which are the learners. Okay. Unahin natin, Ma'am Au.
Okay, tama ka dyan, Ma'am Kate. We must motivate our teachers, yung ating mga staff. Kasi, so, in order to motivate them, may mga ginagawa tayong mga school head. Actually, ginagawa din ito commonly ng ating mga school head. Kung giving technical assistance to our teachers, feedbacking and reflection ng mga teachers. We do Slack sessions, insets. We also encourage them to enroll in graduate school for professional advancement in their career. So, aside from that, alam ko ginagawa din ito ng mga kasama kong school head na kahit mga wala dito. So, yung pagbibigay ng recognition and awards sa ating mga puno. So, yung mga iba naka-reflect din sa kanilang individual performance rating. So, pag naka-receive yan ng siguradong performing yung teacher. So, yun ang iba't ibang paraan paano namin naibibigay yung pag-aalaga sa mga paguruan.
So, this is episode na-enlighten tayo. Ano-ano yung mga best practices na ginagawa ng ating mga school heads para ma-motivate ang mga teachers na kagaya po namin. Okay, so ang ganda nung sagwag, kasi talagang yung school head nila na motivate ng mga teachers. Now, I want to hear yung best practices naman ng Kanamungan National High School. Dr. Pala.
Thank you, Ma'am Kate. In Kanamungan national high schools are using the 3 hashtags. Yes. Yes. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag never again. And hashtag unity. Yung first hashtag natin, yung never forget. So, never forget na tayo ay naging teacher din. Huwag natin kalimutan kung paano tayo nagsimula, kung saan tayo galing, at kung sino ang mga naging nakasama natin. Yung managing school personnel, dapat makita natin ang ating sarili sa mga kasama natin. Para makita natin kung sino at ano ang pangangailangan nila. Na minsan gusto natin ma-appreciate yung mga small achievements natin. Na minsan, we need a tap sa likod na say, okay lang yan. Tayo tayo sa susunod. Yes.
Okay lang ang kamali.
Yes, na minsan pasaway tayo. Ayaw na natin magtrabaho. Yes. Ayun, kasi as a school din kasi pag nakita mo na yun, alam na natin kung paano natin i-develop yung mga staff natin. Kasi based na sa mga experience natin. Dito naman papasok ang isang hashtag.
Wow,
na,
hashtag pa siya.
Yes, hashtag never again. Never again.
Never again.
These the opportunities to develop our skills, to become a better person. And syempre yung opportunity na pagmahal. Napag-iwanan na tayo. Pagmahal, tumawa, syempre, at pagmahal. And magagawa natin yan if we have the third hashtag, which is the hashtag unity. May function o grupo man tayo, dapat makita natin na we are all united para sa kabubuti ng paaralan, community at mga learners natin. And also to become the best version of ourselves. Ika nga ni Miss Earth 2015. All things are feasible if you work together. We will because we can.
Gusto ko yan, hashtag never forget, never again, and unity. Sa ating mga viewers and listeners, this is not a political contest. As you can observe, ginamit po yung mga yon para i-expound kung ano yung ibig sabihin. Ang galing mo, sir. Dahil dyan, unity. Dapat talaga na unity. Unity. Kasi dapat talaga may unity ang bawat school. Sabi mo nga, there is what we call individual differences of our teachers. Hindi pwede na wala talagang grupo. Normal po yan. Right? Sa small at big school, meron at merong grupo. And all we have to do is just to respect each other and their individuality.
Yes.
Okay. How about Dr. Gregorio sa Marawi National High School?
Actually, applicable yung mga sinabi.
Very timely. Best practice talaga yun.
Isa yun sa pagmamayabang ko sa Marawi. Na kahit may mga different groupings doon or groups, kapag yung vision and mission na sinet mo, target yun ng lahat. Hindi lang ng isang grupo. There is no competition and personal attacks against each other.
Wow.
So, ako naman, I always believe in the tenets of a leader as a role model. So, as a leader, I should lead the way in order that my colleagues will follow, yung mga kasama po natin mga teachers. Kaya nga nagpapasalamat ako, before ako naging full-fledged principal, ay tatapos na tayo sa 2 graduate studies natin.
Yes.
At blessing yon mula sa ating Panginoong may kapal. Kaya pwede kong sabihin yon at ipagmalaki sa kanila na pwede nila sundin. And I always include in our agenda during the administration faculty meeting and in the learning action cells and insets or in-service trainings the importance and benefits of attending graduate schools. Yun nga, for professional advancements, and finishing a degree. Dapat hindi lang sila matapos, ngunit kinakailangan tapusin nila yung degree. Because it will help them personally and professionally. Tama yun, pare, hindi lang academic requirement sana. Kayang-kayang tapusin ang ating mga kasamang buhay. Isa pa, attending trainings is also a big factor, which can be done through online platform in our case today. Actually, the SENEO, or the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, or NEAM, in cooperation to our department, the Department of Education, are offering various trainings for free.
Yes.
Free, libre. And this should be availed by our teachers. Kaya lang palagi yung sinasabi sa kanila. Kaya kung may mga information, send agad sa ating mga GC para ma-inform yung ating mga teacher na sabihin nila hindi natin ipinagdadamot yung mga opportunities na ganito. So, I also find talking to them personally, heart to heart, about their professional progression and career track. Ayan po. So, at nakatulong naman. May mga na-promote na at may mga naiinganyo na magtuloy sa kanilang pag-aaral.
Ang ganda habang pinapakinggan ko kayo at nag-expound ng yung mga best practices, I myself, ay parang gusto kong maging teacher mo, Sir Ferdinand. Sir, ma'am, at saka sir.
Masaya.
Kasi kung ganyan yung positive ang ating school, kasi napaka-importante ng human relations.
Yes,
Para ma-develop sila professionally. At ma-reach din nila, kasi we serve as a guide for them kung saan man nila gusto, sa admin, or sa master teacher position. So, napaka-importante na well-guided sila At kagaya ng sinasabi mo, sa mga teachers na nanonood, please, grab always the opportunity to enroll for free sa ating mga free courses like the programs of CBU and NEA. Kasi napakalaki later on, ang hirap, sinasabi ng iba, ang hirap. Nag-trigger mo parang ito doon. Yung mga sa mother tongue natin, nag-trigger mo, ginaganon. Sinasabi nila, but later on, you will thank your school head kasi nakinig ka sa kanya. Kasi siya, pinagdaanan niya lahat. Okay. So in the expansion of the limited face-to-face classes, our pupils or the students and our teachers, safety becomes our main priority. So what are the best practices you can impart to us in terms of resiliency and disaster preparedness? Dr. Well, how about in Malacampa National High School? Kasi in Cluster 1, para sa kalaman po ng ating viewers and listeners ng RTV, sa Cluster 1, Malacampa National High School ang may pinakamaraming learners.
Yes, ma'am. So before I'm going to answer that, ma'am, I just want to add from what Mr. Ferdinand said. Scholarships from MELCs or NEA. So in our school, we have scholars also. They're going to start their training maybe next month. So we have 3, I guess, scholars. We have 2 scholars from HENYO also.
Wow!
So in our school, Malacampa National High School has contingency plans in case an unavoidable incident may happen. So we make sure to regularly monitor the personnel and the learners, their health and their safety. Adhere to the proper implementation of the program of plan comes to that. So organizing the school disaster risk reduction management, or what we call the RDMM, which will serve as our backbone in case emergency may occur.
How about Dr. Edward?
Ma'am, we always observe proper health protocol. COVID-19 pandemic has changed the landscape of school. Dati ang pinaghahandalan natin yung mga earthquake, at mga bagyo. Yan. Ngayon, tatagdag pa yung COVID. Last month, Anamao National High School has received the School Safety Assessment Tool Compliance Certificate. From the Regional Office. And complying with 4 indicators set by the DEPED and DOH keeps the learners and other clientele safe in school. Aside from maintaining this status, we continue to educate our learners on how to be resilient, to be prepared in any disaster or pandemic. By including these sa mga lessons sila, information drives, and kanina lang we conducted the orientation on stress management and mental health hygiene sa school sa mga learners and teachers. And we have to educate them and educate everyone, and syempre we have to put that learning into practice.
How about you, Ma'am Au, in Good High School?
Syempre, Ma'am Tin, sa Duwag High School naman, bago pa yung validation ng limited face-to-face classes, so 3 months prior, nagpe-prepare na talaga kami. We already made the communication plan and contingency plan. contingency plan is our Project SAFE, which is the proposal of our school DRMM, Ronel Geronimo. So, we have also prepared the concurrent letter to the LGU, signed also by our municipal mayor and we conducted orientation to our parents. Kasi priority din natin yung safety ng ating mga bata. So, prior to the orientation, siyempre nag-conduct na rin kami ng meeting with our teachers kasi importante din yung safety nila. At in-encourage ko silang mag-vaccine na. Actually, lahat na ng mga teachers, kumpleto na ng vaccine.
Wow.
First and second dose, then pati booster, kumpleto na din. So, yun, na-secure na din yung mga consent sa parents. To be sure, yung safety ng lahat ating mga pag-aaral. So, yun ang practice naman ng doctor.
Okay. So, can we hear from Dr. Gregorio sa Marawi National High
So
School?
in our school naman, in Marawi National High School, we are implementing the Project Ulan, which stands for underscoring the roles and responsibilities of learners in times of adversities and natural calamities. No? Ang proponent po nito yung mga SSG at yung dalawang advisors po natin, si Sir J. Mark Ayento at saka si Madam Lilibet Ferrer Antonio. So this is being initiated by the SSG and the officers and advisors. So we also make sure that basic requirements such as first aid kits, fire extinguishers, and emergency supplies and materials are ready and available at all times. Trainings and capacity buildings will also help to practice the teachers, learners, and non-teaching personnel in the event that disaster will happen.
Okay, yan. So as I listen to all the best practices, me as the OIC of Cabanabaan Elementary School ay talagang parang mas natuto pa ako and na-enlighten ako sa mga bagay-bagay. Thank you so much sa mga magagaling na school heads ko ng Classroom 1. There you have it. Talaga namang na-enlighten po tayo at maraming natutunan sa ating mga competent school heads when it comes to managing school operations and resources. Maraming salamat po sa pagpapaunlak ng interview ngayong episode na ito. But before we end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the TWG of Hamilton West District. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And also to the hospitable District Supervisor, Dr. Catalina Castañeda. Before that, I would like to greet Dr. Vicky Julio, our PSDS at Hamilton East District. Tiyak po na marami tayong natutunan. Muli po, ako po si Christy Joy Pastor Gorino para sa School Heads Hour dito sa Project Child, Aral TarlakHenyo ng SDL Tarlac Province. Hanggang sa muli, keep safe!
Kabahagi mo Radyo